Thoth began teaching me these lessons 3 years ago. It's taken a lot to embody, to become the kind of consciousness that could even understand it. And he asked me to be deeply patient. I tried to explain it when it began, and there was a pretty clear no. So I let it go, and I allowed myself to be led deeper. Last week, it was clear it was time. So I prepared, and it came through, and it is almost beyond my comprehension. Please appreciate we have a community. This work thrives through your support. There's an opportunity to be a member in the community. There are courses, and I offer personal sessions for those of you who would like support in developing your spiritual practice and taking this work back into the rest of your life, much healthier, more loving way. With this, I give you Thoth. We shall now reveal to you the deepest secrets of human history. Please grant space in your mind and heart to comprehend the way in which we are sharing this with you. Though the mystery is ancient, it is actively known to all of you. It has been forgotten on purpose, and this revelation will trigger many layers of awakening within you that you perhaps have not even contemplated. The human story began on purpose. Your bodies were designed by Gaia herself, whose efforts to generate consciousness, loving presence, were designed to invite you to be here. In order to facilitate this process, a cycle began in relation to the cycles of the stars, the earth, and the sun, in opportunity to give you a chance to exist within this way. You were first invited to incarnate within a time, within a series of era, in which you were given the freedom to fail. Please appreciate the fragility of the human body is renowned. To a cosmic being, it is appalling to embody within a system that is so capable of suffering. Yet this suffering itself offers the gift of its reflection. You have the opportunity to experience pleasure, joy, and tenderness that are impossible to conceive unless the systems of human feeling were also capable of generating pain. This pain must not be misunderstood. It is designed to filter you and focus you into a narrow range of consciousness. It is not easy to embody this consciousness, and thus, this is where we begin. A range of beings exist, and many are alive in human body, who have incarnated in previous cycles of human experience that have been so forgotten you do not know them by name. The one name which you may embrace is Atlantis. Atlantis did not fall by the standards you likely believe. Consciousness from this era was intentionally translated into a deeper range of frequencies. And in this translation, the origin of human history began. This origin was the combination of the consciousness of previous cycles brought into the creatures that you know as human beings. When the story began, we said goodbye to what we had known as our way of life. The civilization that was drowned with the waters did not fall. The oceans rose. And in drowning what was, we were preparing to translate the essence, the seeds of what are possible within human bodies and cultures, into the beings that were already present. Yet understand, those beings held a different place in the consciousness of the earth, which was indeed closer to animal consciousness than we could accept. Animals are also beings of the stars. We all are. Yet they have lived here within a deeper commitment, and they suffer within different ranges of experience that liberate them to be present, eventually, as human. The true intention of this era, however, was to invite many beings to incarnate in a conscious human body that needed to be changed. It was changed in two forms. One, through the patterns of the DNA. Understand, these patterns exist in a spiritual presence that is more fundamental than the physical one. Thus, yes, we changed the DNA by splicing and transforming the coding of the patterns. This enabled a wider range of consciousness to incarnate here, and it implanted latent potential that would be overlooked for thousands of years. To facilitate this process, we began a broader change that is crucial for you to understand in order to come to peace with the transformation global society is entering. Many of us chose to stay. We are caretakers, gardeners of the sacred essence of the earth. To begin, we took care of you. We've been present throughout human history without forgetting. This began intentionally. Gaia created spaces in the form of cultures, in the form of musical light, that invited beings from different stars to be present here. Appreciate the gift of bringing many different forms of consciousness together necessitates a common bond. The common, unique frequencies are shaped around your body and the experience of being human. And yet different cultures throughout human history held space for different keys of presence. To create the cultures, we redesigned the food and the intoxicants. This sacred transformation instilled frequencies within plants that you consume that enable the music of each way of being, each key, to be reinforced, grounded, and to flourish. To generate this opportunity, sages were sent to different corners of the earth bearing bags containing these seeds. They continued to spread these seeds. They gave them intentionally to those who learned. This offered power to certain beings and families that generated the foundations of the cultures that were to be. And thus, coherence was maintained, and individuals within each culture flourished as they upheld and created and recreated the music we offered them. These bags came to be known for the power they contained, and it is crucial that you appreciate that their influence continues to be felt. For thousands of years, these cultures were largely incubated in isolation. Certain clear interactions were enabled, and these interactions functioned like musical collaborations. And thus, we looked forward into now, when unity is recreated out of the essence of these cultures. And this unity has already begun. As cultures learned to trade the sacred gifts they were originally given, collaboration crossed boundaries, and humans learned to embody a broader range of consciousness than the original key that they had lived within. And thus, the sages were remembered through the essence of their gifts. These gifts were the foundations of life for many. The power of this transition is fragile and intense. Intoxicants that dramatically alter life were given as a sacred right, which is easily abused. You were invited to respect this depth of sacred presence within the many forms of plants that have been given to you. We invite you to study this, those of you who recognize the deep import of what you are learning. Frequencies are emitted by each of these plants, which correlate and harmonize with each other. They directly reveal the keys in which different cultures emerged, and they explain the volatility that occurs when certain substances and foods are introduced to those who have not before experienced them. Nothing was given to you that was not intentionally created or transformed. Most of these plants existed already, yet they were changed to harmonize and prepare the way for the cultures that were to thrive and be transformed by their presence. As you recognize the power in these dynamics, you will learn to have deeper reverence for that which you eat and that which you consume to change your consciousness. Nothing was given to you without purpose, yet your ability to concentrate the active elements in these substances is more than dangerous. Without reverence, none of these can do the work they were given to do. And yet, it is crucial to your autonomy, to the range of freedom you were given, that you be granted the right to make these choices yourselves. By embracing reverence in your relationships with all of these, you will learn to recognize the chain of consciousness leading back to the time when they were given to you. To appreciate the chain of consciousness that is opened by this presence, you must recognize that as you harmonize with the truth in your mind and then amplify these circumstances with the use of the substances, you are given a magical relationship to Gaia herself. She has granted you the space and the power to use these as medicines. And when you experience the reverence for the initial sages who brought them into coherence, you will recognize the roots of the cultures that you were raised within and learned to dance with. To transform and translate yourself into a future where this reverence is normal is to remember the sages as they arrived. They revealed not only secrets, but presence. They brought the music of a way of being that awakened you in human form without the memory of who you had been before. And as you grew and lived and died, you shaped the consciousness in a spiritual space that eventually emerged and developed into a more magnificent presence until its substance, its material impact on every new birth was more easily accessible, which leads you to now. Now is a time of unity. Now is a time to embrace what is possible when you know how to let go of who you have been, so that you can fully be present with another way of life. And until you do this, you cannot unite the rainbow. To unite the rainbow in the world, you must unite it within yourself. And when united within you, you re-experience pure consciousness. Embrace these, and we will lead you deeper